Hello, my name is Colin Campbell, I'm with Polygon. We're looking at State of Decay 2, which is coming out on Windows PC and Xbox One next month. It's a game about slaughtering zombies. It's an open world game that's also about building up a community in order to protect yourself and your friends from the dangers of a zombie outbreak. Now, zombies are around us all the time, certainly in terms of our entertainment culture, and it's an interesting subject before we get into the nitty-gritty of this 10-minute gameplay video. A few weeks ago I attended a lecture on the societal anxieties that produce certain kinds of monsters in popular culture. The professor made the point, and I think it was an interesting one, that zombies represent our fear, most especially when we're young, of suburbia. You know, the suburban trap that is waiting for us all. The Walking Dead are representations of mindless consumerism, the endless, pointless itch of want. And it's no coincidence, I don't think, that zombies are often to be found in shopping malls, lurking around gourmet cookie stores or high-end lawnmower departments. So there's a sharp irony inherent to the State of Decay series in which I seek to survive a horrible zombie apocalypse while at the same time renovating my house and making it as comfortable and pleasing as possible. State of Decay 2 expands on this theme which we saw in the first game of advanced nesting, somehow meshing The Walking Dead with Fixer Upper. I while away the hours dismembering shuffling corpses while making sure my patio is up to snuff. At first it's all pretty functional, a few beds here, maybe a kitchenette, but before long I'm installing a gym and a rec room. When the first State of Decay came out in 2013, this was a welcome idea. It was a novel twist on the humdrummery of mass cadaver carvery. Reviewers of the time correctly pointed out that slaying zombies is only half the fun of an undead apocalypse. The rest of this fantasy, I think, is all about organising the living into pods of resistance with all the human challenges that entails. I referenced The Walking Dead to make my point. In the game I mark my progress not by defeating enemies so much, there are always more zombies to be killed, but by establishing a new utopia in my converted garden mansion. State of Decay 2 sticks resolutely to the formula. The differences are mainly about scale. Whereas the first game was a linear narrative of fetch quests and fights, this sequel is an open world game of, well, more fetch quests and fights. Based on playing a few hours at a recent press event, I'd say that the game's open worldness is pretty generic stuff. I climb a tower, I survey my surroundings, I create a map of possibilities. Abandoned stores and half-finished building sites offer resources caches that I can plunder in order to feed myself and upgrade my base. Of course, there are also the hidey holes for zombie infestations which must be eliminated through combat. I begin with a baseball bat and a pistol, but I'm soon packing more gruesome weapons. Bombs and decoys are added to offer more tactical edges. I can also stealth kill any zombies foolish enough to stray from the pack. Individually, zombies are easy enough to kill, but their advantage is congregation. They move quickly towards any focal point of noise, so fights tend to be noisy affairs. Once I begin a fight, it's likely to escalate into a mob, and if I hang around too long, if I fail to eliminate the rallying leaders, I'm pretty much doomed. So my missions are aided by an AI helper, one of the people who shares my home. We're all strangers in a strange land, thrown together by circumstance. But here's where the game becomes much more interesting than your average open world. The game creates a bunch of random-ish characters, each with their own strengths, weaknesses and personalities. I play as whomever, let's just call her Mary. But when Mary gets tired, I play as her housemate George, and so on. The bigger the community, the more people I get to become. I am me, but also I am them. As the game goes on, Mary and George upgrade their skills and accrue a greater variety of weapons. So do, I don't know, Samantha, Billy, Hector and Louise, or whoever I've added to my gang. If one of me dies, I'm gone forever, and so all that progress is lost. So everyone has a vested interest in keeping me, or them, alive. The more people I have, the bigger house I need, and so I upgrade my digs and then I move on to something bigger and fancier. I'm on a never-ending quest for resources that grow my community, who must all be kept happy with more resources such as food, medical supplies and building materials. These characters aren't merely walking embodiments of combat skills, they have personalities and wants. As the player, I decide who gets to lead the gang, and if someone is a complete dick, I get to expel them from the group. It's like a mini soap opera, and I really like that about the game. Frankly, I'm a lot more interested in this dynamic than in the killing part of the game, which I worry might become a bit chore-like, even though yes, it is lots of fun. Still, the business of resource collection and zombie murder is enlivened by mini-narratives attached to various characters. In one scenario I played, I went off in search of a long-lost aunt. Success in these quests boosts my credibility in the eyes of the group, and I become more valuable. This also elevates my reputation when I come into contact with other human pods with whom I can trade or ally. In later game, you'll come across other human groups who are not so friendly. The story is nudged along by an arc about a medicine that can cure zombie bites. And as you go through the game, zombie bites are something that is obviously a hazard. So to collect this stuff, I need to defeat the most intense hordes of zombies and collect this essence of zombiness in order to heal myself or my allies. This also throws up some nice moral problems. If I'm unable or unwilling to take on the horde, maybe I'll just have to kill my old pal George, who is suffering from a bite and is about to turn zombie. Maybe George isn't such a great person after all. Maybe I prefer to go off in search of my aunt, rather than worrying about good old George. So State of Decay 2 packs in a lot of stuff. An incomplete list includes shooting, melee, stealth, bomb strategy, exploration, trading, building, resource gathering, role-playing upgrades, conversation options, character development and relationship choices. There's also, as you can see in this video, driving. You can jump into a vehicle and run down zombies. Sometimes you really have no other choice. Cars are also useful when playing co-op, which is another new element to this sequel. Co-op generally involves moving from place to place, attacking zombies and collecting stuff. I played a little co-op and I found that I enjoyed laying into the zombies as a communal experience, although it can get a little cozy if you're all milling about in the same undead coven. State of Decay 2 from developer Undead Labs is out on May 22nd for Windows PC and Xbox One. We'll have more on this game on Polygon as the date comes closer.